I'm in a field and it's kind of raining, even though it just got sunny outside. It was colder out earlier and it wasn't raining then, but it is now. And I have this book of poems by Wang Wei, and I got this at a bookstore in Edinburgh last summer. And there's some poems in here that I like, so I thought I would read some. A lady was here in this field earlier with her dog, and it scared me. I haven't been to this field before. I've been to other fields near here, and I like them because there aren't a lot of people around. Let's see. It says he lived from 699 to 761. And it says he was one of the great poets. I believe it. I like his poems. I don't know a lot about Chinese poetry. Oh, this is a good one. I really like this one. I'm kind of sick, so that's why my voice sounds like this. Okay. This one is called Song of the Peach Tree Spring. A fisherman sailed up a river. He loved spring in the hills. On both banks peach blossom closed over the farther reaches. He sat and looked at the red trees, not knowing how far he was, and he neared the head of the green stream, seeing no one. A gap in the hills, a way through, twists and turns at first. Then hills gave on to a vastness of level land all round. From far away all seemed trees up to the clouds. He approached, and there were many houses among flowers and bamboos. Foresters meeting would exchange names from Han times, and the people had not altered the Qin style of their clothes. They had all lived near the head of Wuling River, and now cultivated their rice and gardens out of the world. Bright moon and under the pines, outside their windows peace. Sun up and among the clouds, fowls and dogs call. Amazed to hear of the world's intruder, all vied to see him, and take him home and ask him about his country and place. At first light in the alleys, they swept the flowers from their gates. At dusk, fishermen and woodmen came in on the stream. They had first come here for refuge from the world, and then had become immortals and never returned. Who, clasped there in the hills, would know the world of men, and whoever might gaze from the world would make out only clouds and hills. The fisherman did not suspect that paradise is hard to find, and his earthly spirit lived on, and he thought of his own country. So he left that seclusion, not reckoning the barriers of mountain and stream, to take leave at home and then return for as long as it might please him. He was sure of his way there could never go wrong. How should he know that peaks and valleys could change so soon? When the time came, he simply remembered having gone deep into the hills. But how many green streams lead into cloud-high woods? When spring comes, everywhere there are peach blossom streams. No one can tell which may be the spring of paradise. That's so nice, isn't it? It's so good. Also, I got a line wrong. I said can change so soon, but it's can so soon change. I'm a failed poet. Also, can you hear that crow? It has been screaming. It wasn't screaming while I was just here chilling earlier, and it's screaming now at me while I read these poems. Why is it doing that? Chill. I was flying away now. Bye. Oh, this is a good one. This one is called 3 Songs for the Lady Pen, and the context is that they were written for a lady who was a favorite of the emperor, except she got into like scandals and stuff. Fireflies pass across jeweled windows. Voices have ceased in the golden palace. One stays up through the autumn night, gauze curtained, and a solitary light gleams on. Autumn's weeds thrive in the palace yard. His Majesty pays no gracious visit now. How unbearable the imperial music when the golden carriage drives on past that gate. Strange the ladies' apartments are all shut. They have left the court, no one to be met with. They have all gone to their spring garden, sounds of laughter and talk among the flowers. I really like that second stanza there. It's just like, it's so lonely. His Majesty pays no gracious visit now. Like, that's so much rejection in that. This is a short one. This one is about grief, and I think that a lot of Wang Wei's poems are about grief or absence or missing somebody. A lot of them are about seeing his friends off as they leave him to go back to their homes after a visit. And there's just something about that really touches my soul. I love my friends so much, and it really is sad when people leave, even if it's just for a little while, even if you're going to meet again. And there is also something very touching about his poems about grief. His wife died when he was rather young, and he never married again. This one is called Lament for Meng Haozhen. I can never see my old friend again. The river Han still streams to the east. I might question some old men of his place. River and hills, empty as Saichu. And it says that Saichu, I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. It says that that was the native place of his friend who died. I wrote down here for those first 2 lines, it says, the world continues, though we grieve. Even though he can never see his friend again, the river still streams to the east. Some things don't change, even when it feels like everything should change. Okay, this is another... Are there people over there? People. It was people. It was a family, but they're gone now. They're walking away. Oh, this one has a line that I really like. I wrote it down in my commonplace book. I like it so much. Seeing off Chang the Fifth back to the hills. I see you off and I am all grief. Who is it after all I am seeing off? How many days have we been arm in arm? And now one morning you shake out traveling clothes. I have a small house in the eastern hills. Would you mind cleaning up its wretched entrance? Because I too shall resign soon and be off. One cannot force oneself against one's heart. That's so beautiful. One cannot force oneself against one's heart. I think, wait, let me see in my commonplace book. I think I wrote another quote down near it that reminded me of it. It was from First Love by John Clare, and it said, "My heart has left its dwelling place and can return no more." I just think those kind of have the same energy. Your heart is a thing, and it's not the same as you, but it does love the same things, and you can't help what it loves. You can't help what it does. This one is called Lamenting White Hairs. Once a child's face, now an old man's. White hairs soon replace the infant's down. How much can hurt the heart in one lifespan? We must turn to the gate to nirvana. Where else can we end our pain? It's sad. I really like this one. This one is called Lines, and it has some great lines in here. With age I am growing too lazy to write verses, and now old age is my only company. In a past life I was mistakenly a poet. In a former existence I must have been a painter. Unable to throw off my remnant habits, I find the world has come to know me for them. My name and style, these they have right, but this heart of mine, they still do not know. I kind of relate to this one in my identity as a writer. Feels like being a poet and a writer in general, the world wants you to share who you are, but that can be a very difficult thing. And of course your own personal experiences can be used to create art and should be used to create art. But I would consider myself sort of a private person, so it can be difficult in doing that. I've been held back in putting my poems and short stories out there because they're too personal, and I don't really want people to see that. I don't want my family and friends to read those things. I don't want them out there. But it's true that I would go as far as to say that in some cases, you can't create art without putting part of yourself into it. And I think you do put part of yourself into every type of art that you create. Consciously or unconsciously, you're making it, so you're going to be in there. But in specifically making things about your own life and your own feelings, your own heart, as one way would say, I don't know. Is there a way around that as an artist? I mean, probably not. I think you either have to just choose to be vulnerable or choose not to write and create things specifically about your personal experiences, if any of that makes sense. I feel like I'm completely rambling. I'm not a very articulate person. Okay, I think I'll read one more. I'll just have to find out which one. Okay, this one is called Return to Mount Sung. The river ran clear between luxuriant banks, and my carriage jogged along on its way. And the water seemed to flow with a purpose, and in the evening the birds went back together. Desolate town confronting an old ford, setting sun filling the autumn hills. After a long journey at the foot of Mount Sung, I have come home and shut my door. I really like the sense of finality at the end. I've come home and shut my door. And I think that a lot of the description that he writes is very beautiful, and that's actually why I picked this up when I saw it at the bookstore in the summer, because I do want to improve the way that I write description, and I think that poetry is actually a good way to improve descriptive writing in your prose. Yeah, so that's that. Thank you for watching. If you did, check out Wengwe if you can, and you should. Love you. Bye-bye.